So, because I'm working on a few big projects, I've decided I'm going to start doing a few positive cartoon reviews in between. But because shows I like are harder to talk about, these videos will be a bit shorter and they'll have less editing to them. Only in rare cases will they be as long as something like my Looney Tunes show review, and that's because I had an angle that I wanted to try to get across in that video. But as for why I'm talking about this specific series of YouTube videos, that's actually something I can't really tell you in a few words. They're very nostalgic to me, and as a matter of fact, they held up better than I thought they would when I revisited them a few days ago. Better than most internet animations aside from maybe Eddsworld. I'll admit, even by 2011 standards, the animation itself could have been better. Some of the models can look a bit off in some scenes, especially with the proportions, and even from scene to scene, whether or not a character has a nose can change. But honestly, I don't really mind it, and it's leaps and bounds ahead of the work of some professionals, even though it was an amateur project. For example, Problem Solvers was on around the same time this show was made, so for an internet animation, this show was remarkably better than what it could have been. But I'm also not going to pretend this was a passion project. It could have very well started off like that, but considering they had an episode sponsored by EA, I'm not going to pretend this was entirely made out of hobbyist interest. But the real reason I'm talking about these shorts is because at least starting out they were really funny, and as I've mentioned, they do hold up even today. Toby is annoying, that's his main character trait, and they managed to not make it cringy, which could have happened very easily. They do this by having Gabe be the straight man, and it does work often. They made the chemistry between these characters actually work in a way that makes even mundane conversations actually really funny, which is a skill to behold.
Ah!
Why do you keep doing that?
I don't know. Maybe because I keep being bored.
Then go do something.
Ooh, good idea. Let's get some coffee.
Yeah, that's what you need. Caffeine.
Oh man, I was just totally thinking the same thing just now. We're like on the same wavelength.
These shorts also manage to succeed where others fail. For example, there's this show that was really popular back then. You may have heard of it. It's called SpongeBob SquarePants. At the time this came out, a lot of episodes were criticized for having episodes that were basically entirely dedicated to the characters annoying or torturing Squidward in some way. And in those episodes, yeah, it was a problem. To an outside observer, a lot of Tobuscus Adventure episodes can seem that way. But the makers of Tobuscus Adventures at least understand the basics of how to write an annoying character. That character has to have some kind of payoff for the wind-up time of these jokes to be funny in some way. Otherwise, it's not cathartic. For example, in Choir Boys, the writers expected you to find SpongeBob chasing Squidward down and ruining his day to be funny, even though Squidward had done nothing wrong. In Fanboy and Chum Chum, the writers expect you to not find Kyle to be sympathetic, but all too often he's written as not evil enough to be anything but sympathetic. These shows don't know how to write annoying characters properly, and it's tempting to write off Tobuscus Adventures as just another one of those shows. But in episode 1, Toby gets his shoulder bitten off by a zombie. In episode 3, yes, it's revealed that Toby brought them to Canada for no reason, but also his phone gets destroyed, and Gabe does call out his stupidity. It's treated as Toby's problem in that episode. In episode 4, Gabe gets the girl in the end. It's clear that whoever wrote these episodes understands the comedic concept of payoff. And before you start typing, yes, I know. In episode 1, Toby ends up taking a bite out of Gabe, so they're technically even. But honestly, I see that as more similar to Squidward's house getting destroyed and the door falling on top of him at the end of Naughty Nautical Neighbors. It's an ending gag that isn't really meant to be taken seriously. But yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest because I don't see people talking about these shorts very much, and I don't know any way to get anything like that off my chest other than a short format video. So yeah, have a good one. More videos on the way soon.